Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Let's take you around the continent looking at what's making the headlines on the front pages. We'll be starting with our first paper, the Nation newspaper. The big story says uncertainty in APC over Jonathan Emefiele and Adesina. Uncertainty in APC over Jonathan Emefiele and Adesina. Adamu declines ex-president's proposal, CBN governor in dilemma. AFDP President Mom, submission of forms closes. Yesterday we announced that the forms were being closed. The indication or the nomination forms were closing yesterday. We also have here on the Nation newspaper, why refineries are moribund by NNPC. That's on page 8 if you'd like to look at the details of the story. And on page 5, Electoral Act, amendment widens primaries participants. On page 2, we have here, Navy arrests 117 suspected oil thieves and 6 vessels. Oh, we're not yet done with stories like this. And we'll be taking the updates on ASU as well. Here we see that more protests over ASU strike extension. That's on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. And we see here that there's a list of the aspirants who have obtained their forms, starting with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu and ending at Chief Timi Pray Silva in no particular order. We also see here that INEC has rejected parties' requests for adjustment of polls timetable. Primaries dates sacrosanct. One would wonder why the dates are being adjusted, right? And 2 more stories, and it's a wrap for me here on The Nation. We see here on page, continued on page 4. Okay, yes, we see dollar scarcity pushes more transactions to parallel markets. The biting dollar scarcity has pushed more foreign exchange transactions to the parallel market. It was learned yesterday. There was a report that was released yesterday by the financial derivatives company FDC. Between 45 and 50% of forex transactions are now traded at the black market. I think this is understandable because we know how difficult it is to lay your hands on forex in the country right now. So many people, apparently this report is showing that more than half of the people who need it are resorting to the black market. And my last story, this is a follow-up story from the Chidinma case. Chidinma, who was alleged to have stabbed and killed a CEO. Chidinma stabbed Ataga several times, says witness. The matter is still in court, and that's the update on page 2. And finally, Oyo Senator joins APC. That's on page 27. If you'd like to find out who joined, which Oyo Senator joined APC, get yourself a copy of The Nation. But that's all that we have for The Nation. Let's move from Nigeria to South Africa.
Yes, the Sowetan comes up next, and of course the big ones there. How Gardaí accused were caught. It says the Sangoma consulted by alleged killer for cleansing after news of the murders spread and also tipped off the police. We can also find on the Sowetan, Safa threats have rear running for cover. Eskom switches blame to residents. That's a very interesting one there. But of course, one other story that we can find on the Sowetan this morning, good move, Mango's impending departure hailed. And of course, it also speaking about the evolution of the BMW's limo. Those are the big ones on the Sowetan this morning.
All right, thank you very much. We come back here to Nigeria, where we're looking at First News. The big story there says, Senate amends Electoral Act to give statutory delegates voting rights. President, governors, National Assembly members, others can now vote at party Congress primaries. It'll be interesting to have a look at this and discuss further with political analysts to see why, how this implements or how this would strengthen or not, the political process. We see here on the top of the paper, Buhari responds to tenure elongation call over insecurity. Some people would ask, is this a joke or what? Okay, still on the First News. Court nullifies Maleme's sale, disposal of recovered assets. We will keep recovering these assets and we'll keep asking the question about what is being done with these recovered assets. We didn't purchase presidential forms for Jonathan, says Mietiala. They are disowning the Fulani group. that has allegedly purchased forms for former President Goodluck Jonathan. As a strike, NANS directs students to barricade federal roads daily. So you might want to leave early because there is going to be traffic. They are leaving early. They're going to be barricading the roads because apparently they need to be heard. Primaries. Political parties seek 2-month extension as INEC bulks. Now, the previous paper I took has said INEC has said that the primaries dates are sacrosanct and will not be moved. 2 more stories and it's a wrap for me here. 2023. No aspirant deserves Nigerians' trust again. Gani Adams. So who else are we now going to vote? I think that's an important conversation.
Absolutely. And all these stories, very, very important, very interesting, also across the pages, across the continent, So we definitely will be having some of these conversations in bits and pieces here and there. But there's so much coming your way, still on Breakfast Central, right after this break.